Hey everybody, welcome to another drive-through rundown. Continuing a series of looks at different expansions. Taking a look at Crime and Punishment for Firefly, the game. I haven't looked at Firefly in some time. It's been a few years now since it come out. I still have it in my collection. I haven't played it for some time, but it's definitely something I do think about getting out. This expansion though, I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler, I think is, I would say, required obtaining. Along with the Pirates and Bounty Hunters, which is another small expansion. I definitely recommend you get that one. We'll go over the components and stuff in this one. The Blue Sun and the Kalidisa, however you say that name, those are bigger expansions. I wouldn't say those are required, but they certainly do add to the experience. But let's go ahead and crack this one open and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Well, here you can see all the components that you get in the box there. Of course, you also get the rules here. So what does all this do now? Well, the first kind of thing to notice here is you get a good stack of these aim to misbehave cards. Now, I would say you could probably just go ahead and shuffle all these in. Some of them will make reference to the Alliance alert cards. If you draw one that comes up and references that, I would say just discard it and draw again, because there's not all of these refer to that, but a few do. And the rules say take them out if you're not playing with that. But that would be a pain once you shuffle them all in there. So I would say just leave them in there, and then if you pull one, then just pull the next one. Pretend you didn't draw that one. You've got a few more of these warrant issued tokens, and you have now these wanted tokens here, which are going to come into play. So certain effects here from this aim to misbehave deck are going to now mark your crew as wanted. So you didn't always have that before, and sometimes there'll be effects in this deck that will transform wanted criminals into wanted crew members. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and prejudge. They're going to transform wanted crew members into disgruntled crew members, and then also this is going to affect, of course, when the Alliance ship comes and interacts with you. You're going to have to make that roll with anybody that's marked as wanted there. So that's pretty straightforward. Now you can also play with these Alliance alert cards. Now there are some of these setups and story cards there that will have some in play, and then some of these will just come up, and these are basically just kind of enchanted effects, if you will, that are going to affect the whole game. So if I have this one in play and another one comes out, this one will be discarded, and then we will play with the new one. So this one says, when you botch a job, disgruntle your entire crew. Well, that's going to make things very hard and risky now. If you have any warrants you may not buy at Osiris or Persephone. Okay, another little thing there. So that's somewhat thematic as well. +1 misbehave when you work an illegal job while you have any warrants. So that's very kind of a thematic thing. People are on the lookout for you, and you can see this is really the theme of this. Is the Alliance is on high alert. So a lot of these effects are going to kind of play with that. You may not sell cargo to contacts. So again, Alliance is on high alert. There's an enhanced inspection going on at the different ports, for example. This one here, when a player moves an Alliance ship, they may move it one extra sector, does not apply to the Alliance contact nav card. Okay? If you have any warrants when you roll for wanted crew, you must roll higher than your number of warrants for each crew to dodge capture. All of this is bad. Each time a player hires a wanted crew, place this card on the supply deck. Players may not take a buy action at this location until this card moves. So this will kind of jump around as people are hiring the wanted crew there. That's kind of cool. And then when resolving Alliance contact, you may remove one of your wanted crew from play instead of paying one warrant's fine. And then finally, we'll get two more. Each time a player completes a job, place this card on that contact's deck. Players may not take a deal action with that contact until this card moves. So the Alliance is sort of like on your trail. You can see that with a few of these. You kind of change up what you're doing and not just kind of sit in one place. And then finally, players do not count as solid with Hearken while this card is in play. So the next thing to take a look at here are the story and setup cards. And the two setup cards are pretty interesting here. So both are for experienced players. You can see that 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. This one is a little different. You're going to be going and trying to smuggle out directly the different tokens for the contraband and then delivering to different places and then going and getting $2,000 bills that you're going to place under the different contact decks. So once those are all taken, then you're going to count up who has the most money. So that's kind of just a different sort of twist on what you kind of normally are doing here. Now this one here is a little bit more interesting. I think a little bit more difficult probably. Each player starts with one warrant. Player starting locations may not be within alliance spaces. Start with one random alliance alert card in play, so you've got those right in there. Starting jobs may only be drawn from Patience, Badger, Niska, Mr. Universe, and Fanty and Mingo. But it has some very different special rules here. So when a player completes an illegal job, they get paid $1,000 credits per warrant they currently have. So it's called crime pays. Now this one is called Didn't Sign On to Sightsee. Anytime a player completes a legal job, all their wanted crew receive a disgruntled token. So it's, it's wanting you to sort of thread that line there. So when a player resolves contact with the Alliance cruiser, you must remove your highest cost crew member, and then the player to end their turn with $20,000 wins the game. Now these are more interesting to hear, and I can't remember when they added these. It was second or maybe third expansion. So these are sort of alterations to possibly some of your setup cards. So let's look at one here. So this is kind of an easy one here. It says down here, game time decrease. So you shuffle the reshuffle nav cards in the nav deck. When initiating a full burn, roll a die to see how far you can go before the journey gets rough. So you don't have to start flipping those nav cards. You can go a certain distance before that happens, so you're a little bit more safe as you travel, but you can still only go the full distance of whatever your engine is. And you do not use Reaver or Alliance Alert tokens. So the name of the thing is Clear Skies, Better Days. So this would, I would say, is a nice thing to pair maybe with one of the more interesting scenarios, because they have that starter scenario you can download now and get that. I think that's in one of the expansions now. I'd have to double check, but you could pair this with some of the more interesting setup cards, but you still maybe play it with new players. So that's kind of a cool addition there. And then we've got here the opposite, Alliance High Alert. And this says here, begin the game with one random Alliance alert card in play. When a misbehaved card directs you to draw a new alert card, place the current alert at the bottom of the deck. And then here's the starting jobs. It says, do not use the Harken's contact at this game. Harken may not be dealt with. Players each draw 3 starting cards from any contact or combination of contacts they like. Players may keep or discard any of the 3 jobs. So it's just a little bit of a variation on how you dealt those cards. So I would say I would think this would be a must buy. It's going to be relatively affordable. It doesn't do a whole lot. It does spice up the misbehaved deck. And these, just kind of glancing through some of these, they do seem like they're on the harder end, I would say. There's a couple of different things, like maybe you don't like this one, so you choose this other option and you can draw misbehave. Some of these you have to do like 2 things. Let's see if I can find an example. Oh, here we go. So you can see this one here, you have to test this first test here, and then maybe you can do your combat there, and there's no proceed or anything down here. So this could be very, very difficult to do through. So I would say these are on the harder end. So you maybe wouldn't shuffle these in with a new game, but you could use these others here. So there's ways to kind of trick out the difficulty and kind of flavor up the game as well, especially with these Alliance Alert cards. So, and one thing I just wanted to mention, I really like this edition of getting more wanted crew, kind of playing with the legal versus the illegal. I think that really adds to the theme of the game, and you can do so relatively quickly, I would say. If you're playing with new folks after your first play, this is one that you can splash in. You don't have to splash in those bigger expansions, or even the Pirates and Bounty Hunters. This might be maybe a first buy if you have the base game to really kind of flavor up the game. I really like the Pirates and Bounty Hunters because you can steal crew and board ships and all this kind of stuff, and it makes it a little bit more PvP oriented, where this is just going to notch up the difficulty, kind of tweak with the theme a little bit. So definitely take a look at this one. Thanks.